So if you're looking at organizations today, there's this term called as the Great Resignation, which has especially happened post COVID. We're seeing, the beginning of the gig economy. A lot of people have been moving from multiple companies. Gone are the days, when you start in a company and then you'd retire in that company. So
Right.
the talent war has become so bad that it's hard to retain employees with salaries alone.
This is another episode of Form Your Own Pack podcast. My guest today is Smiti Deorah. Hopefully, I said her name right from the Advantage Club. Hello, how are you doing, Smitty?
I'm good, Michael. How are you?
I'm probably mispronouncing your name. What's the correct pronunciation? Is it Smeety or Smitty?
It is Smiti.
Oh, okay, there you go. All right, we're in good shape.
I,
All right, so for people that don't know, who is Smithy?
I'm sorry.
For people that don't know, who is Smithy?
Well, I'm the founder of Advantage Club. Advantage Club is an employee engagement platform. We enable organizations to drive different forms of employee engagement initiatives in their companies, starting from things like rewards and recognition, employee engagement, things like financial wellness. So everything which you can do to kind of drive a better employee experience, we've digitized that on a platform primarily B2B, SaaS, and focused in HR tech.
Super. Now you were another YC Combinator company, and you were in. I think you were in summer 21. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Now, but it wasn't a typical YC story. What was different about yours?
So for starters, it was a virtual batch, right? So typically, YC has always been famous for doing those, Palo Alto parties, and you go there, and you kind of meet everybody. It's a big deal, which they create out of it. And I think this year they started again doing the physical badges, but we were one of those badges which had to be done virtual. So that was a little different because we're in India, we were in a different time zone, everything was happening at night. We'd go to work in the morning, we do YC at night, we barely slept. It was madness. uh, and then but I think interestingly, there were people from all across the world who were dialing in. We used to always feel bad for the Singapore guys because they used to be like three
Right.
hours further.
Oh yeah. Jeez.
So, so that was always an internal joke that people dialing in from Southeast Asia are like at a disadvantage. So that was different about this batch. For us, I think what was different is we were actually one of the oldest companies in the batch, so we were a little late stage for YC. We decided to do YC because we wanted to kind of position ourselves and pivot ourselves into a global employee engagement platform instead of being a perks platform based out of India. So that was something which was interesting for us and different in this particular batch.
So on that note, what is the big problem that you guys are solving with Advantage Club?
So we're primarily solving the problem of employee retention. So if you're looking at organizations today, there's this term called as the Great Resignation, which has especially happened post COVID. We're seeing. The beginning of the gig economy. A lot of people have been moving from multiple companies. Gone are the days, when you start in a company and then you retire in that company. So
Right.
the talent war has become so bad that it's hard to retain employees with salaries alone. So typically benefits and the entire employee experience aspect comes into place because of that. And companies are trying really hard to retain employees. So what we do is we devise mechanisms digitally for them in which they can drive different employee engagement initiatives online. So we have a program called as Rewards and Recognition, where organizations can digitize their entire rewarding journey, right from identifying KPIs, setting up budgets for managers. If somebody does well, you can digitally reward them. You can give them like an automated certificate. There's a social feed where you can kind of celebrate them in terms of their achievements as well. We also have like a lot of engagement programs like intra company communities. So you could do like hobby clubs, you could do biking clubs, hiking clubs. You could also create setups in which you can run all your celebrations like birthdays, anniversaries. So there's a lot of things which come combined in one single platform. And for like in HR, it's fairly easy to just plug and play. And what they're trying to do earlier in terms of engagement is manually using Excels and spreadsheets and emails. So all of that gets digitized by a system itself. So that's the kind of problem we're trying to solve with companies. We've seen great results. So one of our largest clients, we've seen that they have like 200,000 employees,
Oh,
and we've
wow.
seen that yeah. Uh, the engaged employees on Advantage Club actually attract 45% lesser than the ones who've never been rewarded or appreciated on the platform even once. So we've been able to make like those kind of dents, and it's been really helping us grow overall.
And for that client versus say other clients, are the employees typically, are they hourly or salaried, or is it mixed? Like what are you seeing? Is there a difference between how they engage with the platform?
Yeah, well, most of the employees which we're dealing with right now in organizations are salaried.
Okay.
But yeah, there, like I said, there's this shift happening in the industry today. So we've started onboarding companies who have contractors who are, hourly salaried. We also have like companies, especially the media, they have a lot of gig economy workers now where you kind of partially, especially content writers, right? They're not really working full time, but they're kind of in a contract with the media companies. So they're also we're seeing the benefit structure being forwarded to them so that they have more loyalty towards the company, which is giving them more benefits as compared to the others. And I remember when I was back in 2010, I was interning with a company in LA called Zincs Technologies. They were like into healthcare, and we had like a lot of contract workers who were really really smart, but they used to always complain that contractors don't get any benefits, and it's always for the full
Right.
timers. So I think that shift has started happening now, and people have started looking at benefits for contractors and gig workers as well.
Oh, that's really interesting. So, what was the big motivation? Like, what inspired you to start all this?
So, well, me and my co-founder Sora, we were working for Microsoft in the Redmond and Bellevue offices, respectively. And Microsoft is really big on benefits, and they have a culture called as Microsoft Cares. So they have like a lot of initiatives which they do for employees under that banner of Microsoft Cares. So we used to get a lot of benefits everywhere we go, and like for example, a lot of companies push you to take a flu shot. Microsoft actually used to pay you to take the shot. So if you have to
Okay.
take like a flu shot, yeah, if you take a flu shot, you get like $100. Imagine it was like that. So they used to do a lot of benefits for employees, and attrition in Microsoft was really really low. And then my co-founder earlier was working with Amazon, and the culture was exactly the opposite there. So in Microsoft, if you leave after 5 years, people would just be surprised and say that
Why are you
why are
leaving?
you leaving? It's only been 5 years. And in Amazon, if somebody's leaving, the next question would be who's next. So, the culture is like exactly the
Very
opposite.
different.
Yeah, ironically, Amazon had cooler projects than Microsoft. And it's not like work-life balance was better in Microsoft. I mean, we used to work nights there as well. So it's not like, the working hours were less. There was a lot of pressure everywhere. But it was the psychology of a better culture in the company, which used to make people stay. We noticed that these kind of benefits we used to get in the US when my friends in India used to come, they used to be awed by it because they were not getting any benefits there. And I saw a similar thing for employees coming from other countries, and I realized that these benefits are only in Microsoft US. They're not there in the developing countries in the world. So our ideology in starting this was that developing countries, people there, they work equally hard, if not harder, than developed countries. So why should their benefit structures be any different? And that's what motivated us to start Advantage Club as a global platform for benefits.
That's amazing. All right. Well, I want to be respectful of your time. Is there anything we didn't touch on that you think is really important that people know about you?
Um, Not really. I think we've covered most of it. If there's anything specific you'd like to ask, I'd be happy to answer.
All right. Well, if you could offer other founders only one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
So I think the one thing which I feel as founders, we've been able to kind of benefit from is the overall concept of resilience. Because when you're starting a venture, it's not an easy journey. It's like a roller coaster ride. And I used to always think that all these companies who become unicorns, they do that overnight. But when you actually deep dive into everything, you realize, and YC teaches us that as well, that most companies actually take the journey of around 10 years to actually become unicorns
Wow.
or really really become big, like $100 million revenue or something. And but the story which seems to you in front of you feels like, okay, this company just popped out of nowhere, and they just became really big. So you got to stay, you got to continue grinding that particular grind, and you have to keep working on that. There are going to be like a lot of downs while running a venture, but if you have product market fit, if you feel that customers really want your product, you have to, I think, keep going at it. Like, if I look at our example, it took us um, 4 years and an entire company business pivot to find our product market fit. But now that we're there, we're at a growth rate of like 13 to 15% month over month. We're at like a $50 million annualized revenue today, and we're in a good spot. But it took us a while to get there. And in my entire 4 year journey, there have been so many times I've been thinking that,
Just pack it
what
in.
if? Yeah, this is hard,
Yes, yeah. Is this going to work?
Yeah,
That's a
but
great.
yeah, and that would be my advice to founders, that if you feel that there is enough demand in the market and you're growing at a healthy rate, just keep going. That's
Love it.
that.
That is great advice. What role have partnerships or community been in your success?
So typically, in terms of partnerships, while of course we have our own, alliances team who goes and then partners with companies outside, and figures out collaborations and agreements with companies. We feel that we're in a very similar industry with a lot of HR tech companies. However, we're not competitive with them. So what we do is, for example, if you look at the insurance industry, we've partnered with a lot of them, done channel partnerships where they want to give health benefits to their employees, and they also want to run some wellness budgets, and then we hook up our platform there with them. Similarly, we work with like the HR lifecycle management companies. That has really helped us in terms of growing organically. I feel it's important to find these organic growth parameters as well while you're growing and you're selling yourself, but also finding partnerships in the space which can help you both grow mutually. That has been really helpful and pivotal in terms of our growth.
I love it. That is one of the major themes, obviously, of Form Your Own Pack, where we encourage founders to build either community or partnerships to help them grow. So that is a great example. All right. How do people get in touch with you?
So for me, well, they can email me. My email is smiti@advantageclub.in. Or they can also reach out to us. They can come to our website, advantageclub.co. They can book a demo. And yeah, or they can just write to us at our support. It's there on the website, so
Perfect.
I can connect with them. Yeah.
We will include all of those links, as well as if you have any others, in the show notes. The
That'd
final
be
thing is, first of all, I want to acknowledge you for completing Y Combinator and doing so at maybe an unusual stage in the company and the success you guys have. So that's exciting to watch. What we'd like to do too is the final thing is when we have interesting people on the podcast, we like you to nominate other interesting people. We typically talk to either founders or investors in scalable startups. So who would you, Smiti, like to nominate as a future guest?
Um, there are so many. Oh my God. I will nominate somebody. Let me come back to you after
Okay,
this. I have a few people in mind.
sure.
I
Who would be one of
would
them?
ask them first. Yeah, then they're
Yeah.
all YC companies, so I'm gonna ask
Yeah, okay,
them,
that's
and
great.
then yeah, I think there's one really cool company you can talk to. It's called Deskimo. Um, they're the same founders who made Food Panda, so it's a really cool company. So I'm gonna ask them. Yeah,
Great.
and they'll be my first priority. But if not them, then I have other
We can
nominees
find
as
others. That's all right. All right. So, and is it Eskimo or Deskimo?
well. Deskimo, yeah,
Eskimo. Okay, so the
yeah.
founders of Eskimo, you've been nominated. We will follow up with that nomination. Thank you so much for taking time. We look forward to following your journey.
Thank you so much, Michael.